Hello and welcome back to another web development video. Today I'm talking about reasons to not learn how to code. If you ever have thought about trying to learn how to code, maybe becoming a developer, I want to just cover real quick some of the reasons you might not want to or might not need to. So I'll hop right into it here. First up is that if you don't like logic and if you just want to be creative, and this is from the sense as if you want to work in tech specifically. If that's the case, maybe try out UI or design instead. You don't necessarily need code for these types of things. And you might just be wasting a lot of time. You just need to know a lot about design and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe get familiar with some concepts and stuff like that, but you don't necessarily need to get heavy into code for that. Next up, if you're just trying to get into tech, you do not need to know code to get into tech. There are a lot of different jobs and positions out there that are in tech that do not involve code. Okay, follow something along your lines of passion, whatever that might be. If it's project management, if it's sales, if it's support, if it's HR, wherever it is, you don't need to learn code necessarily to get into tech or even to get into Google or Facebook or any of those big super giant companies. Okay. Next up, this is a pretty common one. A lot of people will take some intro courses and lessons and stuff like that. You do not need to learn how to code if you want to make yourself a website or a business. You don't need to learn to code for that. You just need a website builder like Wix or Squarespace or WordPress. And if you're trying to create some sort of business or something like that, I highly recommend you not trying to learn code just for that. Hire somebody that does know how to do that and knows how to code. That's my recommendation there. You do not need to learn how to code to make a website. You just don't. Okay. Next up. So now I'm going to get into some other reasons here. Those are a little bit more practical reasons. This is one that is kind of a dub, but sometimes people still think it. And same with the next couple ones here. But if you hear that the job market for developers is hot, that's not a reason to go learn how to code and become a developer. If it's like, oh, they make a ton of money and there's a ton of people out there, there's jobs from all the time, that's definitely not a reason for a developer. You're probably not going to make it if that's your reason. Okay. Also, if you've heard that everyone should learn how to code, not everyone needs to learn how to code. Not every single person in the world needs to learn how to code. It's great to become familiar with the concepts. Not everybody's going to become a developer. It's a hard job. The reason it pays so well is because it's a tough job. It's hard to learn. It's very complicated. It takes a lot of dedication. It's not one of the things where we should all be developers. If you might have talents elsewhere, you probably do. Everybody has different talents elsewhere. But if you've just heard that everybody should learn how to code, that in itself is not a reason to learn how to code. You're just going to get frustrated and waste a few evenings. And I would more suggest becoming familiar with computer science principles in general, and then learning how to make really, really basic things, and that's it. If that's just your thing, like, oh, I want to learn more about this, that's great, but you don't need to fully learn how to code to do that. Okay. Next reason, this is a big reason a lot of people think about joining a coding boot camp or trying to learn development or whatever that is to make a lot of money. If that's your only goal, don't get into development. Okay, go try sales. Go try sales or go try sales for like software sales. If you want to do sales inside the tech industry, there's a bunch of sales positions out there, but you do not need to learn how to make a website or learn how to be a developer in order to make a bunch of money. There's a ton of positions out there that require way less work than learning how to code. And last up, if you just think it sounds cool to know how to code or to be a developer, that is not a reason in itself to learn how to code. Make sure you're passionate about it. If you just think, oh, he's an engineer at Google, I want to be an engineer at Google, that's great, but make sure you're really passionate about that, because they don't just give those jobs out. it's not a reason to just say it sounds cool. It's hard to get into. There's a lot of jobs out there that sound cool. Sometimes people might think, and I bet you can probably think of a few that sound cool. Firefighter sometimes sounds cool. That's not an easy job to get into. Sometimes people might think, being the CEO of one of these big companies sounds cool. There's a lot that goes around becoming that and getting to that level. And I'm just using that as a kind of a way to say that it's the same thing for development. Just because it sounds cool to be a software engineer somewhere, or if it sounds cool to you, that's not in itself a reason to go learn how to code. Make sure you're passionate about it, and there's a catch-22 here. In order to make sure that you're passionate about it, you actually kind of have to go learn a little bit of code and play around with it for a while, but make sure that you actually have that passion, because if you don't have that passion, it might not be for you, and that's okay. That's okay. Anyway, these are my reasons to not learn how to code. There are a lot of great reasons out there to learn how to code. If you are interested in trying to become a developer or learn how to code for whatever reason it is, maybe you need to start using some SQL at your job at the next level or something like that. Maybe you actually do want to become a developer. Go out there, take some tutorials for free, play around with it, make sure you stick with it for a month, put in an actual good amount of work, and if you still like it after that, then go forward. Otherwise, you don't need to learn how to code. Anyways, that's my video. If you liked it, please subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.